All right, now back to 6.2.
I'll make the motion for 6.2.
Second.
Second. Discussion.
Oh, I think it's a great idea.
Okay. Agree. Roll call.
Ms. Mata?
I abstain.
Ms. Howland?
We just got you the
Aye.
motion.
Mrs. O'Schlager?
Aye.
Ms. Paul?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Dr. Kerrigan?
Aye.
Dr. Griffin?
Aye. Now moving on to 6.7. Policy 421, tuition and fee payment and refund schedule revised, first reading. 6.8, board policy 100.
Well, they're all questions.
Yeah, they're all
First
questions.
reading.
Yeah, no, we'll
Yeah,
go
yeah,
through
sorry.
Unless somebody really objects. 6.8, policy, board policy 100, board of trustees revised, first reading. 6.9, board policy 101, membership revised, first reading. 6.10, policy 102, election revised.
You want comments as we're going along?
No, can we wait to the end?
Sure.
Okay. 6.11, board policy 103, board vacancy revised, and then first reading. 6.12, board policy 104, orientation of new members revised, first reading. 6.13, board policy 105, duties of the board of trustees revised, first reading. Board policy 106, powers of the board, trustees revised, first reading. Policy 6.15, board policy 107, authority of the members revised, first reading. And 6.16, board policy 108, reimbursement revised, first reading. 6.17, board policy 109, board insurance revised. And 6.18, board policy electronic communications among board members revised, first reading. Seek a motion on all of those, please.
First reading.
First reading, that's
Sorry,
right.
sorry,
That's
sorry,
my
first
apologies.
reading.
Any comments on those, right?
I'll go to 102.
Okay, we'll start with 102.
I'll just go with 101.
Again, you have a handout there at your places. That should be easier to read.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the color coordinated
Yeah.
issue. I
That
guess.
is the color coordinated version.
Yeah, so we'll deal with that one, Marv.
Okay, I know in the resolution that we just passed, I think it made reference to the student trustee, the tuition for like 9 credit hours. And when I looked at this policy, it just says the student trustee shall be a student enrolled in the college, blah, 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 blah. Shouldn't it be a full-time student or not?
Actually, the statute doesn't stipulate that, if I'm not mistaken.
It does.
It doesn't.
Really?
So if they want to take advantage of the tuition waiver, they have to be 9 hours, but if not, they just have to be a student.
So there was no incentive prior to that?
Right.
Okay, there you have it.
Okay.
While we're on this one, just for some feedback for the administration now, what we've done, so 102 is a good example. We put the comments in there. When we were doing that, there were 4 trustees present. I have had a chance also to get additional, and Derek and I have gotten additional comments. But let's take that comment. It said student trustees should be seated at the same meeting. So we would actually change this when it comes back for the next reading then. Okay, it would read, and serves a 1-year term, seated at the same time as trustees, or something to that effect.
Sure,
Okay?
that's fine.
Okay, we'll make that change.
Good.
So there's no responsibilities for the student prior to being seated?
Well, that's a good question.
Because I know it's a
You know,
funky date, it's a moving
They
target.
get elected, they would be seated and begin officially then with the board meeting,
Well,
would
what,
be the idea
I
here.
think the reason we were putting the date in is on a year when there are no elections. So there would be no board members seated. There are
That's
no,
correct.
board members are seated only every other year.
That's correct. but
So
that
the
means that you
student
reorganize.
Reorganization.
You reorganize.
Yes.
Yeah.
the
Oh,
reorganization.
April 15th is fine with us. It was a comment that was made here.
No, it should be
Do
when
your
the board
organization-
reorganizes.
Yeah, okay, all right.
No, you're.
And if I can answer.
Oh, I see, instead of seating them, but the board, I got you, yeah, yeah.
Reorganization.
Begin at the board reorganization here.
Right.
Got it.
If
Okay.
I may partake take away Mr. Riley's thunder. His predecessor, Fred Lifton, once told this board that the board cannot put any additional duties or responsibilities on the student trustee that are outside the statute.
Okay.
So that's why there was never anything to say what a student trustee does.
Other than on their own initiative.
Even the student government, when they tried to put some duties and responsibilities on the student trustee, Mr. Lipton said that the board of trustees could not adopt those duties and responsibilities because it supersedes the statute. You can't do that.
And am I wrong? The student trustee on their own initiative?
Yes, they can do, or
Whatever
or
they-
guidance, or
Yeah.
tradition, or, you know, those kind
No slave labor, but
Right.
volunteerism.
of, right.
Okay. Anything else? Any of the other first readings?
Yes.
Okay, which one?
6.11,
Okay, board vacancies.
the comment at the bottom, it says that the last sentence is not necessary. And I just really want to stress to the board that the ideal of keeping in mind the diversity needs of the college should always be in our minds when we are trying to fill the board vacancy. Diversity as far as geographic location, ethnic diversity, and any other types of diversity that we think that the board could benefit from, that should be held, that should have some weight as to who fills the board vacancy.
Not that nice. No.
But that-
So I would say that we should not remove that last sentence. We should enhance it.
Any other comments?
Any discussion? I'd like to.
Yeah,
know
any
what you
comment?
guys-
Yeah, yeah.
Any discussion on that particular point?
Well, I think the board and all of our published information and that goes out to the community, I mean, I think this statement is in there. When we go to our training sessions, as trustees across the state, they recommend that we try to avoid including information that doesn't need to be there. Not that you don't support it, but they always say that policies need to be as short and sweet as possible. I would certainly expect that we would continue to make sure that not only are we recruiting board members that meet this language, but we do it for faculty, we do it for staff, we do it for everyone. I don't know, I just think we,
Well,
I don't know.
and if I may comment on this, the part that trustee who Linda was talking about was the part about selecting candidates based on criteria such as diversity, geographic location that reflect the College Lake County community. I have no problem with leaving that in here. I have the problem with the board will publicize vacancies to the community and period. I have a
Oh, okay,
problem with that
I was,
part.
yeah, I guess I didn't
Okay.
understand
Okay.
what that suggestion was. It said suggest removing the sentence. I was not
Mhm.
really sure which sentence that
May I
was.
give you an example?
Mhm.
Sure.
We had an African-American student trustee who was just outstanding, and we had a vacancy arise the day or the meeting where he was leaving the board. And because we had to have an election in like 6 short months, we just went ahead and appointed him without publicizing or anything, because he was a perfect candidate who knew what the board was talking about doing at the time. Plus, he was a diverse candidate, and it was an excellent opportunity for him in his growth process. And so, tying the hands of future boards by saying you have to publicize would have taken away that opportunity for that young man.
So as I understand the feedback you're giving us now, this would be the board will select candidates based on criteria such as diversity, geographic location, that reflect the Lake County community.
How
That's
about
fine.
they will just fill vacancies?
Okay. Will fill
Yeah,
vacancies.
the board has the
Yeah.
authority to
Fill
fill, so
vacancies.
fill vacancies.
Mhm. Okay, we can do that. Good. You'll get another chance. This will just be a little
When we
comfort
get
on
these,
me.
when we get these, like next month, can
Yeah.
we have it not with what it was last month or the time before, or whatever, just whatever the final version is that's being proposed?
And that's up to Derek, is that all right with you?
Very good.
Okay.
Instead of this red and blue, and just tell me
Well, there he
what, tell me what you're recommending, and then we can go off of that.
All right, we'll do
And if we
that.
need to make changes, then we can,
Wait a minute, what was that discussion? Because I like the red and blue. I mean, you know, I really don't wanna
Well, we
keep
can change,
reading the
keep the
same
colors.
thing over and over again.
No,
I
no.
wanna know
No,
what
no.
has changed, what
I-
we're
When you
saying.
get this, what we can do is, we'll give you, when you get the second reading, at that point, you can, well, you raise a good point. You'll
I
have
mean,
to
I
have
really
some
don't
way.
wanna read it all over,
Yeah, yeah.
especially if it's a 3-pager, my goodness. I mean, I really just
Right.
wanna know.
We'll get it down to one color. I'll tell you what, we'll get it down to one color.
do them both, give us, do the
do
one with
something.
the,
Let Derek finish.
We'll let him figure it out.
He's
He'll
a
figure it
smart
out.
well, do the one with the red and the blue, but then give us a final version,
Oh,
so we
I
know
see.
what we're gonna be passing.
Yeah, yeah,
Right,
yeah,
no,
we
you're
can do
right.
that, yeah, yeah.
Let him- He'll figure it out.
Okay.
We do need to track the changes.
No,
Yeah.
you're right.
You're right.
No, you're right about that, we do.
So before we vote for it to have it finalized, that's the time we need the full copy, but while we're making these changes, I like to see the red and the blue.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, and I agree with you, but this is for next month. It'll be second reading
Second
next
reading next
month, so we'll have the final version.
Yeah.
and we will show you the changes in red
Right.
too or something. so you
Third month, third time it'd be clean.
see. All right.
Okay,
Yes.
any other comments?
Nope.
Any of the others?
Well, there wasn't
Well, yeah.
comments on
What's
that
next?
one.
Any discussion?
The one, the duties of the Board of Trustees, there were.
What page you on?
I'm on 613.1.
Okay,
And there were comments here about, the language itself. And what I'd like to do on this one, I thought about it a little bit, and we talked about it, is we could work, so this is, Derek, if I'm not mistaken, this is the language out of the law, is it not, Bob?
Yes.
Correct. Yeah.
Oops.
So we could, though, change some of that so it has the same intent, but it's in usual speak, not legal speak, shall we say. Which I think was one of the comments that somebody made, that this, sounds too legalistic.
It's
So we could-
incredibly long. Why don't
Right,
you
and we
just
could
state what-
simplify it, yeah.
State the facts without all the baloney.
We'll simplify it, and I'll talk to Mike at ICCTA to see if they have a simpler sort of list or something.
on 613.5, we're under the board comments, is that, in reference to statute, is that supposed to be statute maybe?
Yes,
It
statute.
says
Yeah.
stature.
Statute.
Yeah, that's statute.
Boy, that spell check is killing us.
Where's Derek?
All right,
Okay.
Next,
Okay.
that gets us to 106. Comments on that.
614? Okay.
And then 107, no comments.
Well, what about the board comment there? Is that something we're gonna do, or what's the deal?
Well, I think, yeah, I guess I would open that up to you. The statement before, which I think was rightly crossed out by our attorneys, essentially said that you would handle all appeals if they came up to you. So if I'm a part-time or an adjunct faculty member and I don't like that I didn't get a course or something like that, I could go all the way to the Board of Trustees.
wow.
And
That's
I don't
pretty
think,
amazing.
yeah, well, I mean, but that's what you could do. Which Rich is kind of like him, because it kind of gets him a little, just pass the ball forward.
I never have to be,
So-
I
have
never
to
have
do
to be a
anything.
bad guy again. I
Yeah,
have to be
right.
Dream Crusher
Yeah.
Amy.
Yeah. So I think There are already ways in which you are the appeal. Now, there are already ways in which you do handle appeals, personnel appeals,